Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Kiara and today I'm going to be showing you the fundamentals of a hip hang. I'll give you various poses to flow in and out of so that you can experience the benefits and the beauty of this pose. I do apologize if there is some ambient noise. There are people playing ball in the field next to me, which is a little lovely because we've been stuck inside for coronavirus and quarantines are starting to ease up, so there are people out. So I just ask that you have a little bit of ease when it comes to the noise level and that you can still appreciate the practice that we have at hand. So let's begin. So we want to think about the appropriate placing of our hammock. And we want the hammock to be placed in our hip creases when we're doing this. Up into the belly is a little too high, and below the hip creases is going to be too low. So if you were to take your hands to your hip creases and do a little march, that's exactly where you're going to want the hammock to rest when you're in this pose. This is also helpful to do while you have the hammock in your hands to have that correct placement. So let's try that out. So when you're here, you have the hammock in your hands, you push it down and you take a little walk. See how the hammock is glued at my hip creases? That's exactly what you want. From here, keeping that hammock glued down, if it starts to slide up, you have to start all over again. Keep the hands wide, the thumbs untucked. Begin to walk yourself forward to the front, lean forward, take the arms wide into an airplane, and then begin to fold over your fabric. You're going to take a step back underneath your hammock's rigging points, and then allow yourself to be here. It can take some time to get used to this pose, and sometimes I ask students to just stay with the heels down and leaning forward as they get used to this. So if you can see, this hammock is in my belly. This is not going to be very comfortable for the purpose of the hip hang. This placement can be nice to kind of press out the belly for digestion purposes, but for this pose specifically, you don't want it in the belly. Another thing to look out for is something that's too low, okay? You want to make sure that those hips are nice and hooked onto that fabric. And while you're here, something else to think about is that the thighs stay towards your chest. And I'll show you what that means. Thighs towards the chest. Now you can start to, work some pretty shapes here, and we'll go into that further. But when you're in a pose like this, or like this, you don't want the knees up. For the reason that it's easy to slip out of that pose and fall, and you don't want that. So, being very cautious about our weight distribution in the hammock and how our body locks onto the fabric. So while we're in this pose, we can move from side to side, just to get used to how the hammock kind of feels in that position. We can start to bend and straighten a leg. And when you're ready, you'll bend the knees, take the heels towards the seat, keep the thighs towards the chest, and you can melt here. Same thing, you don't want those knees up, you want them down, nice and locked in. Now from here we can find another fun couple moves, little sways from side to side. You can take the feet together, knees wide. And make sure that you take these in progression, because the first day that you try these, you might not be able to get to this position. You might stay here, or you might even be in this position. If you really want to turn up the heat, you can keep the knees together, feet wide, and then find a side to side if that feels good. And if you like, you could take the knees a little bit wider, keep that stance. Wow. My body's telling me that I need this pose more often. Now some fun things that we can do in this pose. We can wrap our feet around the backs of the fabric, not through the center. So through the center, I'm not locked in. You have to go out, around, and lock on. So this way I'm nice and locked in. This way I'm not really locked in. My knee can still go places and my hip can slip off. From here I can do those little side to sides. I can even walk myself back past my hammock's rigging point. Kind of get into my shoulders a little bit more here. Into the side body, that feels really nice. And I'll come back. Keeping one leg onto the fabric, you can drop the opposite leg down. Start to work on your hamstring. If you feel comfortable, you can slide that opposite leg down and start to go for a standing split. This one's a lot of fun and it's really pretty. Always take your time in these kinds of large poses and breathe into them. It's not a race. Let your body meet you where you are. And we'll do the other leg. Slide the leg down, wrap the other one around, same thing, not through the center, but through the outside. And then you're going to drop the left leg down to the ground, and then slide the right leg up. Now, if you notice that my left heel is down towards the ground, it's because my hammock's up a little too high for this pose. But you want to try to get your left heel down towards the ground before you begin to straighten your right leg up. Same thing goes for the opposite side. When you're ready, gently slide that leg down. Release. Couple more things you can do here. You can go for a cannonball. Bend the knees. Wrap the arms around the legs and hold. And cross one leg over the other for a little glute stretch. You can go a little crazy and do a full eagle pose. That's interesting, for sure. You need to do that one more. Good. Release. You can take the legs wide. And we'll do the other side because it's always important to do both sides. Cross the leg, glute stretch. And it's as if you're looking at a figure 4, the number 4, the legs. Wrap the arms around the back. Same thing, if you're feeling crazy, you can go for the eagle wrap. This side's not as tight as the other one. Try to keep the toes down towards the ground. If you can, work through that weight distribution. Nice, and we'll release. We'll take the feet down to the ground. We'll take a step forward. We'll take a step forward. Heels find the ground. Bend the knees slowly. Roll all the way up. You can tend to get a little dizzy from coming up. So we're going to flip the hammock back behind us. Take the arms up and around. And rest right here. Thank you everyone for watching. Please like and subscribe. I hope that you are able to connect with the piece inside, to really find and experience these poses. There's a lot of therapeutic advantages that the hammock has that a lot of apparatuses don't have. The beauty of the hammock is that you can take it from a gentle, relaxed state to something deep and stretchy and powerful to something dynamic and beautiful and awe-inspiring. There's so many things that you can do with the hammock, and I hope I have inspired you to take your practice a little bit deeper. Take care, guys.